Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, how to set up a successful home-based business, top tips on tapping into the Asian export market, and Climate Friendly explains how you can win more sales by cutting your carbon footprint. Hello, welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders. We're going to introduce you to some terrific businesses today and solve some key issues. In the meantime, news you can use, and it looks as though Christmas is going to be a bumper shopping season online. According to Google, online shopping searches are up 20%, and would you believe 40% of those searches are being made by a mobile device, a smartphone or a tablet. Now, shopping searches reach their peak in the week before Christmas, about now. So the key advice is make sure your website is mobile enabled to make the most of the Christmas rush. Would you believe there's nearly 1 million home-based businesses in Australia? Now, it may seem like a dream, running a business from home with all that flexibility, but it's not without its challenges. So, how do you set up a home-based business and do it the right way? Emma Dunwoody left her professional career in advertising and took the plunge 6 months ago to launch her own business providing personal concierge services to professional women. But she's having trouble transitioning from the corporate environment to a home-based operation. David Baumgarten from the Business Enterprise Centres had some wise words for her.
Okay, Emma, tell me all about your business.
So the Angels basically do anything from walking dogs to doing supermarket shopping. We have found a groom for someone, cooking, cleaning, finding cleaners, gardeners, anything. You name it, we can do it.
Corporate background, you've been surrounded with a lot of resources, I'm assuming. To a home-based business, you wake up and you say, oh my gosh, where do I start?
Yeah.
With that in mind, what has been that one word that you've actually hit the brick wall on?
I think it's business, you know, it's the business. I'm used to being able to represent a client, go to work every day and focus completely on that one task at hand, whereas the actual physical setting up the business, finding the right people that I need, accountants, insurance, that's been the hardest part.
I have spoken to a lot of home-based businesses starting up, and it's the non-ability to be able to plan. It just happens around you. And I think that what you've got to do is react to it, and the more organised you can, the better off you are. Another key thing that small business people forever thinking they've got to do, and that's called networking.
Yes.
So how many business cards do you take to a networking event?
Oh, fistfuls.
Okay, can I say to you, golden rule of networking, go to a function, only take 10 and get to know those 10. When you go up to somebody and introduce yourself, don't fall into that same habit of saying, this is me, this is what I do, da-da-da-da. Put your personality out there, especially in your market, especially who you're dealing with, because the clientele that you're dealing with, they want to know you as a person, you as a brand. They want to know your values. Emma, what I've learned today is some really key tips that I believe that any small business out there should follow. You've actually interviewed those people that you've wanted to surround yourself with.
That's right.
Right, you've been out and you've had a look at all the accountants around. You listen to your friends. They've said, hey, this is a good accountant, whatever. But I think one of the key things that you'll realise is there's a difference from being an accountant to being a small business accountant.
Absolutely.
Absolutely in tune for that one. Same with your insurance broker. Again, there's lots of things you need to understand, and anyone that's operating a home-based business needs to understand insurance is crucial, because you don't want to be caught by thinking, oh, I've got home insurance. But it doesn't extend out.
No.
I mean, again, you start looking at case studies.
Yes.
And looking at how people have done it. And look at where they've fallen over or they've learnt. And again, on that falling over, you're allowed to make mistakes.
Yes.
You
Lucky.
Are. Seriously, you are. It's the only way you're going to learn. By making those mistakes. And if you've got everything in place, if you've got those experts surrounding you, you've got the information lined up, You're not going to make mistakes which are going to be too way out.
Yeah, absolutely.
The mistakes you're going to make are going to be contained.
I always love David Baumgarten's advice. It doesn't just necessarily apply to a home-based business. There's lots of tips that any small business should be using. So go to the website for the full interview. Coming up, international trade expert Tim Harcourt's tips on cracking the Asian export market.
This segment brought to you by NAB. We see Australian business.
These days, more of you are making international payments overseas. With advances in technology and the strength of the Australian dollar, it's become more and more common for businesses to import goods from international suppliers. So here are a few tips as far as making international payments easier and quicker. It's really important to try and lock in your exchange rate before you send the funds. And secondly, you avoid surprise conversions along the way and you control exactly what rate at which your money has been sent. Plus it's quicker. It's always quicker to send in the local currency of the supplier than it is Australian dollars. So it's really important to make sure you've got all the information available to you before making the payment. Requirements vary by country, but they all require you to put the full account details of the receiver. You will need an IBAN number, which is International Bank Account Number, and a SWIFT code. Plus you'll need to add your name and address, plus the recipient's name and address, and make sure you don't put a PO box on there. The reason for the payment is required more and more these days as well. If you're still not sure, just talk to us. Make sure you use the right payment method. Some currencies and countries have restrictions, so you'll have to go into the bank to make those transactions. But wherever possible, try and use internet banking or some other online channel because they're quicker, cheaper and easier, especially for smaller transactions. Some banks offer better exchange rates for larger transactions, but there are thresholds involved. So speak to us about what those thresholds are and you might get a better rate. Be aware of cut-off times. If a payment is processed before the cut-off time, it should arrive at the supplier's account the very same day. But if you miss that cut-off, it won't arrive until the next business day. Different currencies have different cut-off times and processing requirements, so it's important to know the difference.
Visit nab.com.au/smallbusiness for more information. Now, the politicians tell us this is the Asian century, that we need to be exporting more to the region. That means us, Australian business. On average, companies that export are more profitable than those that don't. But it can seem really daunting. Different culture, different country. Doesn't have to be if you know where to get the best advice and where to go to. The Jumbana Group has been taking Aboriginal design to the world for 30 years. They're the ones that painted the Qantas planes. Now they're looking to expand their exporting operations into Asia. So we sent in international trade guru Tim Harcourt to share his wisdom on how to get it right.
A lot of companies out there, you know, they set up in Australia and then they decide, right, it's too small, we've got to go offshore, you know, are we export ready? How did it happen for you?
Oh, look, I'm not sure if we were ready or we weren't, Tim, because a Japanese company ended up seeking us out. And in fact, we were wooed, yeah. We had to compete to be wooed, but we were one of a number of companies that they were interested in.
Well, I've always thought that the Japanese people appreciated the Aboriginal culture. Their deep traditions sort of linked in with ours, and we thought it'd be a good opportunity for us to present our culture, our designs in Japan. It was very well accepted.
I'd be interested to know specifically what you think the barriers might be somewhere like China and India for us to take what we did successfully in Japan into another Asian context. I mean, how should we go about it, do you think?
There's a real issue with intellectual property in China. It's getting better.
Yeah, it would worry us, actually.
Well, your stuff's impossible to copy, but the Chinese will give it a crack.
Yeah.
So IP's quite a big issue. With India, there's probably issues to do with cultural licensing and quite a complicated federal-state relationship. India, fair bit of red tape, but large, big international companies that are very, very global would appreciate Indigenous culture. The exchange rate, every time I do a talk to exporters, they always ask me about the dollar, what you do. And some hedge, some take out accounts in US dollars, or you've often done that in yen and so on, so they take it in other currencies. Interestingly, about 2/3 of exporters in Australia now import. So when the dollar's high, things are hard for them competitive-wise, but they import a lot of computers and travel and things. That becomes a lot cheaper.
For us, it's about value we offer to our clients rather than continuously trying to create the lowest possible price, because for us, that's not the market we're in.
The Export Market Development Grant Scheme, you're an early recipient of EMDG. How did that work for your business?
That actually assisted us with marketing funds. So you had to spend the dollar to get, I think it was 50%.
50% back of your marketing
reimbursement.
costs.
But I think it encouraged companies to spend on branding, so to get your profile out there and to really spend the dollars to get a good return on the profile that you were building. So I think, you know, to be able to access some of those programs, not just for the funding, but for the expertise from people who have been in those countries for a long time and who know the way trade works in those countries, to be able to access.
Networks, doesn't it?
Gives you networks, and it gives you expertise that it might take you much longer to try to source.
So Austrade has, 90 offices around the world that have 6 in Japan, that have 15 in China, 11 in India. When you're starting out, it's good to be word, but you've got to know who's who in the zoo. So you can use their networks overseas in Tokyo or Beijing. Sometimes state governments can help out as well. So there's sort of a whole combination of government assistance for exporters.
And it doesn't just have to be initially. So as we went on and as we started to mount exhibitions of our work in Japan, then often the embassy would get involved and would be speaking to our trading partners specifically for us or broadening their own network. So there's a really good network to get involved in, and it is really beneficial.
Lots more tips from Tim in the full interview, and also the Asian markets that you should be targeting. Go to the website for the full interview. After the break, how to curb climate change and boost your sales and profits.
This business tip brought to you by Yellow Pages.
A great way for small businesses to extend their reach online is through quotation services like Quotify. Are you looking to connect with the type of customer you want to reach and only them? Well, Quotify makes that simple, and you only pay for actual customer leads you receive. Online users looking for a quote are connected with the 3 most appropriate service providers in the Quotify system, and they're matched by the job type, the size and location, even right down to exact postcode. Customers find the service they're looking for locally, and your business can be matched to over 10,000 people who visit the Quotify site every week. And as a business, you can focus on the customers you want to target. Packages allow you to adjust the volume of leads coming in based on your workload, and you can even pause the service when you're on holiday. Most importantly, you pay for leads, not just eyeballs. For more information on how Quotify can help drive customers to your business, visit www.quotify.com.au/partners.
We've all got to reduce our carbon emissions. For a business, it can be daunting, but it can also be profitable. Our entrepreneur in the spotlight makes it easy for us to do the right thing. Climate Friendly has built its business around helping companies realise the competitive benefits of reducing their carbon emissions. With a portfolio of clients from Qantas to Hilton Australasia, plus a swag of awards under its belt, Chief Executive Freddie Sharp tells us how they've become Australia's most successful carbon offset provider. So, Freddie, what does your business do to help other businesses?
We do 3 simple steps, David. We help companies understand their emissions. So we help them measure their carbon emissions from their operations, from their purchase of electricity, from their supply chain. Then we help them reduce their emissions, and that's where you save money. Every time you use less energy in your business or your home, you are saving money. The third thing you do is switch your power that you can't reduce to clean energy, to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. You're investing in clean energy futures, and you're future-proofing your business against power price rises, because solar energy is free, coal-fired power is not free. And then we say what you can't reduce or switch, offset. You can actually reduce your net emissions to 0 overnight by those three actions.
At the moment, carbon tax affects just big polluters. As a small business owner, why should I care about this? It's too much trouble. I've got enough paperwork to do. It's going to cost me money.
Sustainability is fundamentally important for your business and good for sales. If you will win more business and you'll keep existing business more easily, if you're a leader in sustainability.
Give me a business case example of one of your case studies that you've helped.
Absolutely. The one that springs to mind as very impressive is the Hilton hotel chains in Australasia. About 2 years ago, they decided to make all their events carbon neutral. If you host a conference or a party or a wedding at a Hilton hotel chain, all those emissions are offset in advance. It's a carbon neutral event. And that costs Hilton money because they don't charge the client, they wear that cost themselves. But they've won more business and they've made more revenue and they've got more margin and more happy customers than the cost of buying the offsets. So that's a positive investment case for one company.
How do you make money though? How does your business make money?
Sure. Our core business is we buy offsets, package them up into portfolios for clients and sell them to clients with a whole range of marketing and communication services. So we're a brand-based company. We help you, the body shop, Hilton, Qantas, tell your employees, your investors and your customers what you have done. So we're a marketing company in many ways. We're like a retailer of carbon. So we buy offsets and we sell them, we make a margin along the way. But more and more now, the margin goes back to the project. So for a typical offset project...
So you run those projects. The extra money Hilton pays to be sustainable, they give to you and you invest it in projects like what?
We aggregate all those monies and invest in a wind farm, or let's say there's a cooking stove project in Cambodia. These are beautiful stories and the narrative is very compelling. In Cambodia or in Kenya, we support projects that give tribespeople clean cooking stoves, more efficient cooking stoves. Rather than a 3-stone open hearth, it's a locally made efficient cook stove that saves probably 30–40% of the fuel. So 3 things happen. They don't need to go and cut down as many trees. That's the carbon benefit. There are enormous health benefits because if you're living inside a tent, a Maasai hut, you're inhaling 40 cigarettes a day of smoke. More people die from indoor air pollution in Africa than malaria or bad water. It's a huge health benefit. That's another benefit. And the mothers, and there's usually the mothers and the women who gather the wood, they have more time to look after their kids or get jobs or build a business. So the benefits are enormous. Now that story for you as a buyer of offsets is very compelling.
And really compelling to your staff and customers
and your investors.
Who then start to say, oh, I'm pretty proud we're involved in that.
It's a feel-good factor and you're winning more business. That's a really, it's a double or triple benefit to your company.
Well, it's a wonderful story, great business story. You've won so many awards. Congratulations.
Thank you,
for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
It's interesting, isn't it? Reducing your carbon emissions can differentiate you from your competitors and also boost sales. Go to the website for the full interview and more tips. Coming up next, it's time for Ask Kochie, where we answer your burning business question.
This business tip brought to you by NAB. We see Australian business.
When you're running a home-based business, you want to spend more time working on your business and less time thinking about your banking. We've put together a NAB Business Fundamentals package, giving you customised, essential business banking products starting from just $12 per month. We'll help you select the product that best suits your needs to better control how you manage your cash flow, receive payments and track expenses. Plus, you'll save administration time by separating your business and personal banking. NAB Business Fundamentals package gives you access to everyday business transactional account as well as online banking for easy access to your money. And you can also choose from optional banking solutions such as merchant facility, business cards or an interest earning cash account. You'll receive ongoing support from our small business banking team because as your business grows and develops, you need a bank that adapts to your changing financial needs.
Visit nab.com.au/smallbusiness for more information.
It's Tech Tip Time with Val Quinn.
I'm sure many of us have experienced a situation where we've been working on a document on our desktop PC, saved it and gone home for the night, only to find that we need that document again and have had to go all the way back into the office to get it. Well, the good thing is remote management software can make it easy for you to access your desktop PC. However, a new tool has been added to the mix called Log Me In. Now what this does is it allows you to remotely access your computer's desktop from a mobile device like a tablet or a smartphone. So download the app to your tablet, for example, and then it'll give you access to your desktop and even open that document, only this time you can use a touch interface. To learn more about Log Me In and its suite of products, hop online to see how it can help you and improve your business productivity.
Time to take a look at some of your questions that you send through to us each week. Keep them coming. We love hearing from you. First up from Ben, who says, I've been working with the BEC for funding for my new business venture, but find most of the funding is on a 50-50 basis. And what are the other sources that I could go to for private funding? Well, Ben, back in episode 6, go to the website and see the replay, we had a section on grants from government from different levels, from not only federal but state and also local funding. That could be a starting point. Otherwise, look at going to a bank or another financier and borrowing the difference, making sure that you're able to repay the loan. Next up, John says, I want to set up a business. Can I access my superannuation funds for finance? John, the superannuation authorities and the tax office is very clear on this. You need to separate superannuation investments from any private business or investment ventures that you might have. The regulations and the law is very strict on this, so be careful. Now, if you want your own business seminar delivered to your iPhone or iPad every week, you need the KBB Bulletin app on the iTunes App Store. It taps in to all the KBB experts for the latest advice and information to make your business more successful and more profitable. As I say, go to the iTunes App Store and subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Next week on KBB, how to plan for next generation succession, building personal wealth out of your business, and we run away with the circus.